for Data 的精彩内容哦，请看。
Incredibly important work and a really inspiring story. And it really highlights, I think, what you can do with your data when you start to remove the constraints of operating it in the cloud. So, when you start to look at a new problem, or you start to form a new business, you kind of get dropped into that problem without really knowing what the contours of the landscape are around you. But that landscape kind of forms the surface area of your business. And understanding that landscape is really kind of job number one in establishing a business which is going to grow, in establishing an agenda which is going to drive innovation, in establishing how you're going to use the information available to you to make better decisions. And one of the first jobs to do is often take measurements of your surroundings, not just individual point measurements, but measurements in the context of the broader landscape to really understand where the hills are, where the valleys are, where the resources are, and in some cases, where the monsters are hiding. And over time, you'll use those measurements and you'll start to build up a coordinate system of your business. You'll start to understand your customers more deeply. You'll start to be able to use that landscape and that surface area to understand the trends of how your customers are using your products or interacting with your business, what their satisfaction is, and how to drive more engagement over time. You'll start to understand what the direction is, which way is up. And a lot of these measurements end up stored as data inside data stores. And these data stores are kind of like the settlements inside this broad landscape. They are the unique vista on the surface area of your customers, or the surface area of your business. And each settlement, each watchtower, has a slightly different and unique view into your business. And so you may find that there's a unique view from sales and marketing. And you may find that that view is subtly different from the operational view of your organization. It's also worth just gut checking sometimes that sales and marketing or operations are even operating on the same continent. But you get a different, unique perspective. And the data that's available to all of these different settlements, all these different watchtowers, gives you the insights that you need to make decision-making more quickly. And it's very tempting to think of these data stores as just undifferentiated silos of bits, as if every 1 and 0 were created evenly. But that just isn't our experience. And we found that if you really want to make use of your data, if you really want to take that unique perspective and use it to drive better decisions inside your organization, use it to understand your customers and your processes better, you shouldn't look at your data as if it should be just stored inside an undifferentiated silo. Our approach is a little bit different. Our approach is that you want to actually be able to take advantage of the structure of that data. You want to be able to take advantage of what you know about the types of data that you're going to be storing, so that you can drive down costs, you can drive down latency of actually using that data, and you can increase the predictive accuracy of what you're working with as a result of that data. And it's why on AWS we don't believe, and we don't really recommend, that there is a one-size-fits-all data store. Instead, you want a purpose-built data store, one that understands the landscape on which it is built and is fluidly in line with that landscape. And it's why we have databases which are custom designed for relational workloads. It's why we have databases and data stores which are custom designed for key values. It's why we have a separate service for managing and storing graph data, and so on, through memory and document, and caching and time series, anything that you can imagine. And our goal here is that no matter what type of data you're working with, you can quickly find a data store, put your data in it, and start taking advantage of that data without running up latency and without large, complex, expensive queries. So one good example of that is Amazon Aurora. Aurora is one of our most successful, most popular services ever. It's the fastest growing service in AWS history. And we built it and designed it from the cloud, for the cloud, starting with just a blank piece of paper. And so we were able to take advantage of everything that I've been talking about in terms of the cloud scale and efficiency to drive better relational databases. So Aurora is designed to have the security, performance, and availability of very, very high-end commercial databases. but with the simplicity and cost effectiveness of open source databases that developers love. Aurora has about 5 times better performance over standard vanilla MySQL and about 3 times better performance over standard vanilla Postgres at 1/10 the cost of commercial databases. And so with a few clicks, you can have all of these capabilities available to you for your relational databases. And just to put it in context of what it means to be one of the fastest growing services in AWS history, since 2017, we've seen the usage of Amazon Aurora grow by more than 10x. If you're not already running on Aurora, I recommend you give it a try. A similar story is there for Amazon Redshift. Redshift was really the first time that enterprise data warehousing was made available to the rest of us. Data warehousing was once the position of just very, very large, old guard technology companies. It was expensive, it was slow, it was like the definition of enterprise. And I don't mean that in a good way. With Amazon Redshift, AWS was really the first to offer data warehousing as a service, something which was designed to be very, very high performance, which was also designed to be low cost, so that everybody could take advantage of the benefits of data warehousing. And since then, we have methodically been innovating on Redshift. We've added capabilities for data sharing, we've added the machine learning capabilities that I talked about earlier, we have federated query capabilities, which allows you to query all of your data from a single location in Redshift. We have hardware acceleration with Aqua, and so on and so forth. And one of the features I'm most excited about is a new serverless feature, which allows you with just a few clicks and no ongoing operational costs to be able to spin up Redshift without managing or optimizing any of the infrastructure under the hood. We take advantage of all of that for you. So we've been systematically improving Redshift and making it easier to use so that to live up to the commitment and the opportunity of providing this technology for everybody. Now, sometimes if your data stores are like your settlements, then a data lake is kind of like your library. This is where you go to accumulate not just data, but to start turning that data into richer and richer information and building knowledge. It allows you to aggregate data from various different sources, store that data in a standardized format, and query it as if it was a single source. And today we have hundreds of thousands of data lakes running on AWS. And it could not be easier to get up and running in just a few days. You can take your data, store it into S3. We provide lake formation to allow you to wrap that data into a governance framework. And then Amazon Athena, which allows you to query that data with standard SQL. So in just a few days, you can start taking your raw data, adding information to it, and adding value to it for your customers and your organization, so you get a much higher resolution of the landscape around you. Now, of course, once you've got these different settlements, it's only natural to assume that these settlements are going to want to talk to each other, to be able to share the information and the knowledge which is building up inside them. And so these routes tend to appear inside your organization. These are kind of like trade routes with people swapping information between the different settlements. And we try to make this as easy as possible on a technical level with a service we have called AWS Glue, which provides a simple, scalable, and serverless approach to data integration, ETL, and cataloging. And we're not done with our innovation here either. Just in the last few weeks, we've added new interactive sessions and notebooks. We've added new auto-scaling for Glue workers, so you don't have to manage the infrastructure when you're indexing and cataloging data. And we also added automated sensitive data detection, so you can really automatically understand what type of information is available inside your data lakes, inside your data stores, and provide fine-grained governance of that data. And governance is going to be at the core of any sufficiently advanced data strategy. And it is really important to be able to have a set of tools which doesn't just block access to everything, although that's very appropriate sometimes, but has a set of capabilities which allows you to find the right balance for your organization, where you have fine-grained, row-level, and in some cases cell-level access to individual items inside your data store, where you're automatically understanding where the PII is and putting controls in around that. But where suitable, you're also enabling teams inside your organization to collaborate and share that data. So they can take that data in as a consumer, they can add value to it, and they can potentially republish it out to their organization. All the while providing a single point of querying your data anywhere that it lies, whether it's in your data lake, inside your SaaS applications like Salesforce, inside your databases, on premises, in big data engines, or even operational logs. So, in our landscape as it starts to grow, the economics and the simplicity of building these data lakes and the value of the value and the opportunity of using data within them to make better decisions will mean that more and more of these data lakes start to spring up. More teams will invest the time to build them. And this, far from being scary, actually unlocks wave after wave of invention and innovation for your teams. To be able to have access to that data, improve that data, turn it into higher value knowledge, and then use that to make better business decisions is an incredibly powerful tool at the center of almost every data transformation story that I've heard. But it also doesn't stop there. The ultimate goal is not to just map the terrain and understand where the hills and the valleys are, but it's actually to make a reusable map for your organization. And if you're doing anything sufficiently advanced with data, believe me, you're in the map-making business, whether you know it yet or not. And maps are great because they provide a way to orchestrate and organize all of your teams. They provide a path from A to B to allow you to understand the trends inside your organization. And one of the ways that we've seen customers do this is with our business intelligence service, QuickSight. So QuickSight is today, we launched it about 6 years ago, and today QuickSight is the most popular cloud-native, serverless business intelligence service in the whole entire world. And customers are able to use this service to build advanced visualizations and to be able to understand using machine learning all the trends inside their business, and then be able to pass those insights to anybody that wants them inside their organization without having to provision desktop software or server software or managed license or any of those things. And because QuickSight is serverless, and because it's built in the cloud, we're able to do things there that you just can't do in the old janky world of traditional enterprise business intelligence. For example, we recently launched QuickSight Q, which allows you to very quickly and easily ask natural language questions of your data and get back relevant answers and visualizations in seconds. So instead of having to write SQL queries, you can just ask QuickSight what is going on with your data. So you can say, what is the revenue per feature inside my application? What is the revenue per feature per country? And QuickSight will answer with real answers, and it'll give you back relevant visualizations so you can understand the context of those answers. All very quick and easy without having to be experts in data science. And just last week, we announced the preview of Amazon QuickSight one-click public embedding. So gone are the days where customers have to stop what they're doing and jump to a business intelligence application on their desktop or somewhere else, change context to be able to get their questions answered with data. One increasingly common trend is the ability to be able to take that insight and those dashboards and embed it directly into the applications that they're already using. And to be able to do that at any sort of scale. And so with Amazon QuickSight one-click public embedding, you're able to do that as easily as you are with embedding a YouTube video. You just take a small snippet of HTML, copy and paste it into your application, and away you go. QuickSight takes care of everything else, and you get a live, interactive dashboard available inside your app. So let's take a look at how others are doing this and using data. I can't think of a better example of those that are used to using maps and measurement and precision than F1. Let's take a look at what they're doing.
AWS and F1 partnered in 2018, and since then have helped us cement Formula One as the most technologically driven sport on the planet.
And it's lights out and away we go!
We were able to consider the huge amount of data that was available at Formula One that up until this point it hadn't really tapped into. How do we present the data to engage the fan more? It was a fairly simple premise on which we built the strategy. F1 Insights are data widgets. It helps the fan to be able to understand at a more detailed level what's going on in the Formula One race. They're a game changer because until this point, there was no way of really understanding all of the details of the Formula One race. we asked the fans what they wanted. They wanted up-close, wheel-to-wheel racing. And that wasn't possible with the current generation of cars. So we had to go away and we had to redesign that car. We needed a technology partner like AWS who helped us to put that whole project together, and hence the results of the new car. So for Formula One to deliver on its future vision, it must engage the right partner. And when we talk about technology and when we talk about cloud services and analytics and machine learning, AWS is that partner.
It's amazing what can be achieved with some data that is collected from those cars. Those cars are data-generating monsters. They have over 1,000 sensors on them per car. And not only were Formula One able to collect all that information and process it, but they were then able to use machine learning to actually make predictions about what particular teams would do or should do on the track. And that's one example and one trend that we see with a lot of customers going through their own transformation. The ability to be able to collect that data, analyze it, quickly leads to teams investing in the use of predictive analytics using machine learning. And AWS has by far the broadest and most complete set of machine learning capabilities, spanning a very wide range of expertise. So at the very lowest layer, for folks inside your organizations that are machine learning practitioners and data scientists, we provide a set of machine learning frameworks and infrastructure, including the support for all the most popular deep learning libraries, as well as Trainium and Inferentia, plus GPUs for training. For everyday data scientists and developers that want to get into building, training, and deploying their own applications, we make available SageMaker, which allows you to take all of your data, enter into the world's first machine learning focused IDE, and then start labeling your data, training your models, applying your algorithms very quickly and very easily. And if you want to get into machine learning without writing any code, we also make available SageMaker Canvas, which allows you to do all of that inside a friendly UI, broadening the applicability of machine learning. And if you're just an application developer and you just want to take some of our pre-trained models and embed them into your application, it's easy to do that as well using our AI services. So machine learning has gone from a set of capabilities which was largely out of reach for everyday developers and is now accessible to all customers. And we are, at AWS, very invested in ensuring that customers can take advantage of some of these technologies. And we have a goal to train 29 million developers in machine learning by 2025. Starting with our own training and certification efforts, we have the Machine Learning University, which makes available the machine learning curriculum that we use inside Amazon to train our own engineers on machine learning, and includes some fun data sets like predicting whether a order should be gift wrapped. We have a partnership with Udacity, which allows customers to take a machine learning nano degree entirely online. And one program I'm particularly passionate about is the AI and ML Scholarship Program, where we're investing $10 million a year to fund scholarships for those that want to get into machine learning from underrepresented communities. And for those of us that like to get more hands-on, we have the Deep Racer League. The Deep Racer League is a global racing league at a slightly different scale than Formula One. We provide a 1/18th scale, fully autonomous racing car, which you get to teach to learn how to drive and race, using real cars on real tracks. And the league has gone from strength to strength over the last couple of years, and so I'd love to take a look at the updates for 2022.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Marine, and I'm excited to bring you the next evolution in racing, the world's first global autonomous racing league, AWS Deep Racer. Since launch, over 140,000 developers from more than 150 countries have participated. And this year, the Deep Racer League is more accessible than ever before. With the all-new Student League presented by Intel, high school and college students worldwide can compete for scholarships, prizes, and glory. Students can get rolling with just a few clicks, no credit card required. All new AWS Deep Racer arcades will let you skip the coding, grab the wheel, and race head-to-head against AI. Compete from anywhere in the world in monthly virtual circuit races. And the Summit Circuit is back in person on physical tracks across the globe with more chances to qualify for one of 50 coveted spots in the championships at reInvent. Discover how you can accelerate your machine learning journey at deepracerleague.com.
I guarantee you a smile the first time you see your autonomous car get around the track for the first time. I have plenty of hints and tips for anyone that wants to buy me a beer later about how to get a good time. So we talked about how AWS is really at the center for building every type of application and working with every type of data. And what we see from customers routinely is that these capabilities really, really matter in driving their transformation and in driving the ability to be able to serve their own customers. So that when they have a new idea or when they want to be able to scale up their business, they no longer have to file their TPS reports. They no longer have to write big checks with enormous amounts of capital. They no longer have to wait hours or even weeks or months. They no longer have to receive the boxes. They no longer have to rack and stack. They no longer have to install, power, and cool their infrastructure. They're able to just get things done. And this leads to incredibly happy developers. And with that, I'll thank you all very much and hope you enjoy the rest of the summer. Thanks.
好的，让我们再次感谢大家。